Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to go over what I believe to be is the most efficient 7mm Magnum cartridge. Yeah, I know, Magnum and efficiency is kind of an oxymoron, but that's what we're going to look at today. And of course, that is the 7mm Weatherby Magnum. So the other day, I was watching Backfire TV, and he's doing a little special on cartridge comparisons. He calls it the Cartridge Wars. And his latest video is on a bunch of the 7mm Magnums. And it kind of got me thinking why the 7mm Weatherby is kind of an underrated cartridge, and why not a lot of people get it. And so in today's video, I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about the 7mm Weatherby's performance, why it's efficient, and why it's not so popular. So hope you enjoy it. Let's briefly talk about the history of the 7mm Weatherby Magnum. This cartridge was one of Roy's first Weatherby Magnums. It was introduced roughly around 1944. The parent case is the 375 H&H. It has been shortened, so it is not the same case length as, say, a 300 Weatherby or a 340 Weatherby. It is a little bit shorter so that it can fit a standard length action. And so this cartridge is pretty interesting because it has almost the same dimensions as the most popular 7mm Magnum, that is the Remington Magnum. So we're going to look at these dimensions because I think it's really important to remember this. So basically from here up to where the shoulder starts, remember this number, 2.012, and then the length from when the bottom of the case to the neck, 2.218, and then of course the overall is 2.549. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the Rem Mag to see how these differ. Okay, here's the Rem Mag. Okay, so from the bottom of the case to where the shoulder starts, 2.040. So it's actually longer than the Weatherby. And then from the bottom of the case to where the neck starts, again, is a little bit longer, 2.229. And the main difference between the two is the Rem Mag only goes to 2.5 inches. So the Weatherby case just has a bit longer of a neck. Quite interesting. So with the cases being almost identical, let's see what the performance difference is between the 7 Rem Mag and the Weatherby. Let's first look at the 160 grain with the Rem Mag. The 160 grain is what I really want to compare in today's video. And in the Rem Mag, you can get that going over 3,000 feet per second. And honestly, you could probably get it 3,050, maybe even 3,075. So it's pretty quick. But let's go ahead and look to see how it differs from the Weatherby. Okay. That's going 3,200 feet per second. So in most cases, the Weatherby is going to be 100 feet per second to 150 feet per second faster than a Rem Mag. And when you use factory ammo, that's when you're going to see a huge difference, because the Weatherbys, they're loaded up pretty hot, and the Rem Mag is not. You're going to see probably about a 200 feet per second advantage with factory ammo with the Weatherby Mag. Now, before I show you the ballistic chart, I wanted to compare the Weatherby to some of the cartridges that are above it in performance. So some of those are the 28 Nosler, the 7mm STW, and the 7mm Rum. And the Weatherby holds its own really well. It's about 100 feet per second slower than a 28 Nosler and a lot more efficient. 28 Nosler, I think, is starting to get a bit overboard, and it's known as kind of a barrel burner. Then the 7mm STW, well, that thing is anything but efficient. It's really close in performance with the STW as well. They're neck and neck. And then the 7mm Rum, well, I've done a video on the rum, and to really take advantage of its full performance of that case capacity, you really have to get a longer barrel than 26 inches. So the Weatherby with a 26-inch barrel compared to a 7mm rum with a 26-inch barrel, they're very similar as well, with the rum only barely beating it, maybe by 100 feet per second. I just want to go over the ballistics. In this ballistic chart, we're using a 160 grain AccuBond with a BC of 0.531. And in a little bit, I'm going to explain why I'm only using a 160 grain AccuBond. But for now, we'll go forward. The velocity is 3,200 feet per second, which is pretty quick. Energy, 3,639 foot-pounds. That's almost 300 Win Mag good. It's really close to matching the Win Mag performance. Now, out to distances, it does pretty darn well. Out to 400 yards, you're still having 2,200 foot-pounds of energy. Out to 500 yards, 1,900 foot-pounds of energy. So yeah, this thing, it's quick, it's flat, and yeah, it's a good one. All right, let's talk about why the 7mm Weatherby is not a popular cartridge. Okay, so I have 4 reasons. Number 1, it came out in the mid-40s. The 7mm cartridges never really took off until the 60s when the Rem Mag was introduced. And even today, Americans like 30 caliber a lot more than 7mm. So I think the cartridge came out at a wrong time. The second reason why it's not so popular is that Weatherby currently only offers it in a Mark V. And Mark V rifles are a bit expensive. I think the cheapest you're going to find a new one is around $1,200. I don't know why Weatherby's not trying to push out the 7mm more, but it's kind of taken a back seat to the 300 Weatherby, the 257 Weatherby, and even the 270 Weatherby. But yeah, it's only offered in an expensive rifle. Okay, the third reason is that ammo for the Weatherby, the 7mm Weatherby, is really expensive. Like, you're going to be paying close to $100 for that ammo. Lastly is the barrel twist. This cartridge only comes in a 1 in 10 twist. And so I mentioned that I could only really use like 160 grain AccuBond because like using a 168 AccuBond long range or a 175 AccuBond long range, the barrel twist is just not fast enough to stabilize those bullets. So you're really limited. I mean, obviously you could use some partition bullets or interlock, but you know, right now everyone's really going crazy over the really high BC bullets. And so I think that's really kind of one of the reasons why the Weatherby is not as popular. Thanks for stopping by, watching the video on the 7mm Weatherby Mag. I think it's a really good cartridge, one of the more underrated cartridges that just never took off. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.